Ever walked past a business and a beautifully crafted sign caught your eye? That's what we create at Eminent Signs and Graphics Inc. Whether you're starting fresh or revamping your brand, our expert team designs, fabricates, and installs signs that truly embody your business's spirit. From channel letters to monument signs, we handle it all. Ready to stand out? Visit us today at 1888 Freeman Avenue in Signal Hill, California, and see the magic for yourself.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation. It is Championship Wednesday here on Turn 200. It is time to crown officially 3 champions for the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship. Welcome back to Turn 200. It's been a while. It's been an up and down couple of weeks, but we are here covering the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship, and it is a first. It's Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, the Grand Prix layout, 2.6 miles in length, 16 turns. It's a fast little circuit, and it is here on Turn 200 for the very first time. We got a lot to cover here tonight. My name is Tommy Cook. We got Matt Williamson alongside. Matt, partner, welcome back. It's been, well, exactly 7 days since we've been here on the channel, but we're ready to go.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's been 7 days, and the last time we were on air, it was the penultimate week of the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship for the season, and now it is time for the finale, and we are getting ready to crown some champions here tonight.
Absolutely, and we technically already have crowned the team champion, which we don't really talk about all that much, but we'll talk about it here in a second. And we've also crowned the GT3 champion as well, but there's more up for grabs here tonight.
There certainly is, Tommy. The other prize up for grabs is the LMP2 championship. Currently, Christopher Hill holds the top spot by 18 points over Brody Gunter. And there was some talk that Christopher Hill may not make the race tonight, but he is in fact here. So that makes the path to the championship very, very difficult for Brody Gunter. He can only do what he can do, and he's going to have to hope that Christopher Hill finds a couple of bumps in the road along the way.
Yeah, as of now, I believe there are going to be 9 LMP2 drivers on the grid, which should mean that there is a minimum of 11 points that could be scored by Christopher Hill. Gunter is going to have to hope that Hill will come up snake eyes here tonight. Otherwise, Gunter's chances are over, realistically. I think the positive here for maybe the drivers like Gunter and also like Christopher Hill who could sight read tracks is that we're here at Misano in the Emilia-Romagna part of Italy, which is where the Imola circuit is as well, not too far away. But this is a fairly new track to iRacing. It was implemented last season. I guess technically still at the beginning of this season. But it's just a little over 2.5 miles, 16 turns. Matt, you got to turn some laps. It's kind of fast.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of fast, but the thing is, you feel like you can take these turns really, really fast, and it's very easy to slide the tires and even slide all 4 tires on entry into a corner, get into a corner too hot and slide them all, or feel like you can put the power down early when you can't. It's tough. There's also a lot of area off of the actual asphalt that is not necessarily grass or gravel, but doesn't have a lot of grip, so you kind of feel like you can when you're exiting corners, kind of go out into those areas to give yourself a little bit more room, but you really have to be careful if you're going to do that. There's some tricky things about this racetrack. It's new to a lot of the drivers. I'm sure it's going to be making for a very interesting last couple of rounds here.
It definitely will be, that is for sure. It is about time for Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli to make its debut proper here on Turn 200. And it is the penultimate round of the championship. Race number 19. And the starting grid will roll off like this. We'll start with the LMP2s. It is the championship hopeful looking for his 3rd title in his 3rd different class of vehicle. Brody Gunter is on pole position. Josh Heggie, again, very sporty. He will start on the outside pole. It will be Christopher Hill, who is here tonight, and he will start on the inside of row number 2. Jarrell Williams will line up to his outside. How about Jeff Mathis taking his first crack at the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship this season? First time in an LMP2, he rolls up P5. It is Austin Lafferty, a podium finisher in last week's feature, who will start to his outside. Then it's the Rutherfords. Joshua, the runner-up finisher at Spa a couple of weeks ago, starting 7th. Corey, last week's runner-up finisher at Chicago Street Circuit, starting back in 8th. And it is Dan Miglin, who did not post a qualifying time, who will have to start amongst the GT3s. That is always interesting. but at least he'll do it in the dry this time. He'll be 23rd on the starting grid, 9th in class. For the GT3s, Dave Seats, last week was the first time he didn't pick up a single victory all season. Seats' uncharacteristic week in the rain at Chicago, but he'll lead the field to green. Kevin Burrows will start to his outside. Those are teammates leading the GT3 class to the green flag. It is JJ Wang, last week's sweeper at Chicago, who will start in third, with Alex Howland, who ended up with a podium finish in the feature last week, starting in fourth tonight. Nick Batista, Rene Garcia, teammates there on row number 3. It's Johnny Alford, runner-up finisher in last week's feature, and Rob Henry on row 4. Gabe Ogden and Matt Schlosser deep in the field here will round out the top 10 starters in class. Matt Johnston, James Watson both spent time up front last week at Chicago. They start deep in the field here with Brian Bonneau, Travis Fleming, and Blair Warner. 24 drivers for the penultimate and final race of the season coming up after our 20-minute dash to kick things off. Matt, what are the drivers looking for here today under the Italian sunshine?
Yeah, track conditions are pretty good here. 71 degrees is currently the track temperature. Cool ambient temperature of 68. So that track temperature should pretty much stay served throughout the event here, at least definitely for the sprint race, that is. As always, we're bringing to the sprint race first. That'll be a 20-minute timed race. They do get one fast repair. I have a feeling some of those might be used here tonight as they are testing the limits of this new track to them. 14X is a drive-through penalty, 21X is a disqualification, and we're expecting about 15 laps here for the sprint race, and it's going to be an interesting mix. I know there's quite a few drivers that really didn't get a lot of practice. I'm sure there's other drivers who have put in a lot of practice. So with a new track to iRacing just within the last couple of months, it's always interesting to see who put the practice in and who's just able to pick things up quickly.
2.6 miles in 85 seconds. That is what these drivers in the LMP2 division anyway were doing. That is a pretty sporty lap. These guys are going to be flying. I'm sure lap traffic going to become an issue quite quickly. Unlike Imola, not a whole lot of elevation change on this circuit. Not completely flat, of course. There's a little bit of up and a little bit of down, but stadium setting here, FIA Grade 1 track, really nice facility, named after, in parts, a motorcycle rider who was killed here in 2011. That is Mr. Marco Simoncelli. But the Misano World Circuit about to host its first action on turn 200. Gunter and Heggie on the front row. Rounding turns 13 and 14 right now out of the 16. Go ahead.
Don't forget, there's a great battle for second in the GT3 class here as well. I believe that's between Matt Schlosser and JJ Wang. I mean, they're fighting for podium positions because all the podium positions in both classes do get some sort of a plaque or trophy. I'm not sure exactly which, but there's plenty to still be fought for here tonight.
And JJ, with a great week last week, was able to gain some ground and take second outright from Matt Schlosser. Lots to play for here tonight at Misano. We're on the pit straight, and these drivers will see the green flag. It's Gunter and Heggie leading the charge into turn number 1. Into Variante del Parco we go. Boy, we are fanning out. Lots of contact at the front of the GT3 field, but we are through turns 3, and it's Gunter with a whole shot. For the GT3s right now, it's Seats leading as there's one wide. It is Corey Rutherford off the track. He will find himself all the way at the back of the field here. Oh, there's a spin. It is Christopher Hill. Hill has gone around, trying to find a way to bring it back into traffic. That is JJ Wang, also around in the same corner. Now for the lead. Brady Gunter's not a problem. He is spun. Gunter from the lead. New leader is Heggie, and Gunter, now that crucial 0x bonus is gone, but more importantly, Gunter is way deep in this field. Problems for Jeff Mathis. He has spun as well.
My goodness, it did not take long for things to get ugly here on the first lap.
On track, Gunter still ahead of Christopher Hill. JJ Wang with a meatball flag. He is towed back to the pits. Your leader is Josh Heggie. Jarrell Williams is in second. Austin Lafferty is in third. Seats Garcia Batista, the top three in the GT3s. As we're headed back to the stripe here, Heggie headed down the pit straight.
LMP2 is pretty spread out. That is not the case for the GT3s. Dave Seats is off to a little bit of a lead. Rene Garcia not too far behind. But it's a bit of a gap back to Nick Batista in third there. But behind them, there's a long line of drivers all together. A couple of them side by side. That is actually Brody Gunter trying to get through on some traffic.
Ooh, that's a little bit of contact there with, I believe that was Travis Fleming, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been Matt Johnston, actually. But that's the problem now Gunter and Hill face. They are going to have to pick their way through traffic. Dan Miglin there as well in this mix. Oh, there's one around. It's Nick Batista from third in the class. Just as Gunter and Hill arrive on the scene, they are nose to tail. They are about to try and dive their way underneath Garcia and Dave Seats both. Or rather, that is just... sorry, that's Kevin Burrows.
Yeah, Kevin Burrows.
We've still yet to come up on Garcia and Seats.
And Matt Schlosser was the other driver there in the Lamborghini. And another LMP2, Dan Miglin, going to be making his way through here as well.
Man, watching the speed differential in some of these faster corners, Gunter just, I mean, he has to pull the parachute not to pile into the back of Rene Garcia. Garcia going to let Hill and Gunter around the outside and try not to pile into the back of him into the braking zone. Gunter now going to get through on the GT3 leader, Dave Seats. Not missing anything up front. Josh Heggie with a 2.5 second lead over Jarrell Williams. Sporty lap time from Jarrell. Might be able to hang on. Oh boy, that was quite the opening lap. I feel a lot safer now.
I think everybody does now that it's a bit more spread out.
Well, Johnny Alford doesn't feel much safer. He was in sixth, and he is parked right in the middle of the track.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot here. Driver's going to the inside and the outside. Now has it moving on the racing surface. Matt Schlosser looking to make a move on Kevin Burrows here. Schlosser on the outside through the left-hander. With Corey Rutherford in the LMP2 tracking behind, side by side with Burrows still. Schlosser, well, I thought he was going to take the spot, but the Mustang has a bit of an advantage here, as we've seen throughout this season on long straight stretches. Schlosser now takes it.
Corey Rutherford definitely had the advantage there in the LMP2. Here's a dive to the inside. That is Johnston.
Brody Gunter, Christopher Hill side by side. Gunter currently in fifth. Hill not able to make it happen that time.
Gunter and Hill on that lap both had an off track. But I mean, 0x bonus for either of them not in play. Gunter really needs to hold position, and Hill basically needs to not finish this race for Gunter to have any kind of a chance on the next round to try and claw his way back into this championship.
Jeff Mathis, who also had issues in an LMP2 on the first lap. He's working through traffic now. He's through on Burrows and Schlosser. Matt Johnston right on the tail of Burrows trying to get that one.
So Nate Siefker got the monkey off his back last week. Finally got that first win of the season for the 45. You may have noticed that he's not in the lineup tonight. But Josh Heggie is. Heggie similarly has won races in the ASRL Sports Car Championship here on Turn 200 before, but none this season. He is looking to change that right now. Comfortable 5-second lead for the 099 over Jarrell Williams. So a lot can go wrong in 13 and a half minutes. As we found out in Chicago, where it all went wrong for 40 minutes straight in last week's feature. For everyone.
Yeah, there was certainly nobody surviving that one really without incident. Although Corey Rutherford did a pretty good job and ended up getting an interview after the feature race out of it.
And actually did get the 0x bonus. It was him and one other person that I cannot think of who it was.
Oh, Corey just about had another problem trying to get the power down. Now, one of his class adversaries, Jeff Mathis, is going to look to the outside.
Great to have Jeff on the channel, as always. Usually in the chat hanging out with us, but I'm sure he's enjoying being out there on track. Well, maybe now. Probably not at the start of the race.
So Mathis takes that spot. Christopher Hill had a bit of a slip-up. Joshua Rutherford pulled right up to the back of him there for just a moment. Now Hill trying to get back on it, but it's well over a second and a half gap up to Brody Gunter, but Hill with a big points advantage coming into the night. I mean, if things end this way, that wraps up the championship for Hill, I do believe.
Yeah, Gunter needs to find a way to get up really to Jarrell Williams, and that is going to take some doing. It's about a 15-second gap between the two. But Gunter needs to finish in second, and he just needs Hill to not finish. He needs him P9 to have any kind of a chance.
Battles continue in the GT3 class again between Burrows and Schlosser. Burrows mounting a charge and takes it to the inside of Schlosser. Here comes Matt Johnston trying to get into the mix.
Tracks with a combination of high speeds and some really tight, slow turns. Much like VIR, Matt Johnston seems to excel at. Running in the top 5 here. And remember Matt Schlosser, you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, he needs a good night tonight to try and take second in the overall standings for the GT3s. Well, JJ Wang has done his part for Schlosser thus far. JJ running last by a considerable amount.
Yeah, JJ is a lap down, maybe about a lap and a half down at this point. Schlosser had to tow to the pits, so yeah, Schlosser, should things end the way they are at the moment, things are looking good for Schlosser to get to second in the GT3 standings.
Dive into turn 5, and Brody Gunter has moved himself up into third. He's dispatched of Austin Lafferty. The bad news for Gunter is that Christopher Hill is just a couple seconds behind, and make that 1 second behind Austin Lafferty. But Gunter continuing to put down quite the pace. He turned the purple lap last time around.
We'll go on board with Christopher Hill as he is running down Lafferty here, and Lafferty is just going to give him the inside.
Of course, we only interviewed the top 2 at the end of the feature, but it was great to see Lafferty's name up on the podium last week at Chicago. A little love for that. We'll slip back to 5th as Hill gets through there. So Gunter's next task is to find Jarrell Williams. The problem is he is 9 seconds behind with 9.5 to go. Not out of the question that we start seeing some drive-through penalties here. Some high numbers up on the board. Christopher Hill leading the LMP2s with 7. Travis Fleming and James Watson, Blair Warner and JJ Wang all in double digits for the GT3s. Dave Seats' comfortable lead, just under 3 seconds ahead of Rene Garcia. Ambrose has put some distance back to Matt Schlosser. As, Christopher Hill has gotten into Blair Warner, and they have both gone for a spin. Hill is back up and rolling again. That's going to give Blair Warner a pass-through penalty and a meatball flag to boot. And it puts Austin Lafferty right back on the hunt for the 101. So that'll help alleviate some of the pressure maybe for Brody Gunter to just focus forward and not have to worry about Hill trying to track him down.
Yeah, it's about a 4-second gap now from Gunter back to Hill, and we're past halfway point in the sprint race now at this point. Let's take a look back at some of the incidents we've had thus far. A lot of them are going to be coming on the first lap here. This is the incident that kind of kicked things off here. This is Corey Rutherford, who was going to go long into this one, misses the braking zone. And then 2 corners later, this is Christopher Hill. Oh, you see the big fishtail. Whoa, bigger fishtail there. Really sliding the tires, and then once you kind of get them hot and bothered, they typically do not want to cooperate. And ends up going around. Really no contact with anybody, so was able to keep the car clean. You kind of saw in the background of the shot there, JJ Wang with problems. Let's see what happened to JJ. And that is much of the same. Got on the inside, lost some grip, trying to really push it through that corner. And contact after JJ was already around at that point. So all things were looking great for Brody Gunter until in the very next corner, Gunter has his problem, and this is going to be self-inflicted. Just trying to get back in the throttle, spins it out, and with everybody coming through, there's really nowhere for Gunter to go. Instead of whipping it around, he's going to try and back it up to then get it going straight. But, I mean, at that point, had lost a lot of positions already. And then let's go ahead and take a look at this. Well, I'm hoping to take a look at the incident for Blair Warner and Christopher Hill. You can hear the spin, and Hill runs right into the back of Warner there. That was a self-spin for Warner. So those are the big incidents up to this point, and still over 5 minutes left to go. They may not be done yet.
Well, haven't missed anything while we were under replay. Just some intervals changing, but it's a comfortable 7.5-second lead for Josh Heggie over Jarrell Williams. Brody Gunter is catching Jarrell here at a pretty good clip. He was about 3 seconds faster last time around. This time he is nearly a full second faster, and he's 2.5 behind. And for Dave Seats, it is a 6-second lead. It's all Seats, the elect champion of the GT3 division. Matt Johnson catching Matt Schlosser once again. That'd be for 4th. Everybody rolling in and out of traffic.
Jarrell Williams having a good showing. Currently in 2nd in the LMP2 class and overall.
He's had some hardware issues recently. I'm just happy to see him back out on track. I'm sure he's been loving a little bit of TV time here tonight, running P2. Season 3 GT4 champion.
He does have Gunter about Well, Gunter's going to get slowed up by traffic a little bit there through that section, so it might be up towards 3 seconds at this point, with only a couple laps remaining here. We might get a third in. It might be 3 to go.
Yeah, Gunter only gained... Actually, Gunter lost time on that last lap, so Gunter running out of opportunities. Dan Miglin, Joshua Rutherford side by side for P6. And Miglin going to pick that spot off through turn number 16.
Yeah, a few corners to go. I think Rutherford had some issue there. Speaking of Williams and Gunter, they are going past Schlosser and Johnston, who again have tightened up here.
They cannot seem to get away from each other recently.
Yeah, they certainly have their moments at Chicago. Or big moment, I should say.
Yes. Like you mentioned, Schlosser with something to play for here tonight, and especially a lot of hope with J.J. Wang back in P13. This is a big swath of points coming Matt Schlosser's way if he can hold out for fourth. Oh, Gunter and Jarrell Williams both with a problem. And Williams is still caught up. He's still backwards. And now going to get it in motion. So Gunter is through to second, and the good run for Jarrell Williams. He's now back to P4. Not too sure Jarrell didn't get boxed in by some GT3 traffic to kick that one off. We'll have to take a look at that once we get closer to the finish. But that, unfortunately, is a gain for Gunter and a loss for Gunter at the same time as Christopher Hill gets through on the 24 as well.
Matt Johnson finally got the move done to get past Matt Schlosser. So a battle of the Matts going on right now just outside the podium for the GT3 class here in the sprint race. And that is, whoa, Williams again trying to work his way through these two. He's done it once just about a lap ago. Whoa.
Oh, and there goes Schlosser.
Yeah, Johnston kind of gets boxed out there by Jarrell Williams, and Matt Schlosser gets through again.
Does the society like infighting? That's the question.
If it's in good taste, we don't mind.
As not just a Matt, but also a Williams. Here's a lunge to the inside. Wow, Johnston makes that one look easy.
Yeah, it seems like Schlosser may have missed the mark a bit on that one. Kind of got wide through the exit.
I've not talked much about Joshua Heggie, but he is on the final lap with a 10-second lead over Brody Gunter. Seats similarly with a 10-second lead on Rene Garcia. So there's great battling still behind.
Yeah, Johnston with a bit of a moment there. There's leader Josh Heggie.
Clocks will strike 0. Heggie in control on the final lap for the first time this season. Just a handful more corners to bring home dub number 1 in race 19. Heggie through turn 15, the left-hander to contend with.
Contact between Schlosser and Johnston as Heggie is going to take the win.
Heggie out of the final turn, and he's on the board. 0.99 to P1. Heggie with win number 4 in his ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship career. And not too far behind at a turn number 16, it is Dave Seats back to his winning ways. Win number 13 on the season for the GT3 champ. Win number 23 overall. If we can quickly, let's go back and take a look at the contact between Brody Gunter and Jarrell Williams.
Well, I think this might just be a spin. Oh, he does get boxed in by some GT3 traffic here. Nowhere to really go. Oh, he makes some contact with the GT3, and Brody was not expecting Jarrell to have to slow down after the contact with the GT3 driver. And Brody gets right into the back of Williams. And then we're going to try and take a look at this incident between Schlosser and Johnston. This is the exact same thing that just happened on the last lap. Johnston got boxed out by an LMP2 and then tries to turn down and kind of turns down on Schlosser. Schlosser stops and lets him have the spot back, but I don't feel like Schlosser was a whole lot of fault there. That was just a really awkward incident.
Lots of hard racing and unfortunately some championship hopes dashed. We will talk to your dash race winners when we return to tonight's coverage of the ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship from Misano World Circuit here on Turn 200.
Ever walked past a business and a beautifully crafted sign caught your eye? That's what we create at Eminent Signs and Graphics Inc. Whether you're starting fresh or revamping your brand, our expert team designs, fabricates, and installs signs that truly embody your business's spirit. From channel letters to monument signs, we handle it all. Ready to stand out? Visit us today at 1888 Freeman Avenue in Signal Hill, California, and see the magic for yourself.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Turn 200's coverage of the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship is presented by Eminent Signs and Graphics. From channel letters to monument signs, they handle it all. Team Watson Racing Setups, Mullet Music Productions, CJR Graphics, and the American Sim Racing League, celebrating 25 years of sim racing excellence.
Alright, folks, we are back from the mid-race break, and we are here with your winner of the GT3 class in the sprint race. And once again, that is Mr. Dave Seats. It was just a short break, a one-week break for you that you didn't get to come up into the booth for the sprint race, but here you are back at it in the final sprint race of the year.
Yeah, it was a fun evening. Much better than last week.
Well, there was quite a bit of chaos around you still, just like last week. You just happen to not be caught up in it this time. I mean, this is a new track for a lot of folks. Seemed to wreak a little bit of havoc out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I ran it for the first time last week after Chicago just to see what it looked like. There's a lot of... they're not off camera, but there's definitely some interesting corners, and if you over brake the back end of the car, doesn't matter which car it looks like, wants to just spin out. Or you overheat the tires, and when you accelerate into the next corner, it spins out. So I have not seen that many spun LMP2 cars in a half a lap in quite some time.
Yeah, certainly a lot of self-inflicted incidents out there. Maybe we'll see a bit of a tick down in pace for that first lap, but something tells me that's probably not going to happen. That never happens in the feature race. So, let's get you some shout-outs here before we let you go.
ASRL and you guys up in the booth, Eminent Signs and Graphics, and then my sponsors, Full Send Graphics. He came through and did a new spec map on the car for this week after winning the championship, and then Chris at East Tool Sales.
Well, you stole my thunder there. No matter what happens in the feature race, we will be talking to you at the end of the evening as you did wrap up the championship after Chicago. So congrats on that. For now, we're going to let you go to get warmed up for the feature race, and we'll talk to you here at the end of the night.
Sounds good, gentlemen. Talk to you in a little bit.
It's a deal. We'll talk to Dave Seats here in just a second, but it's time to talk to Josh Heggie. Welcome back to Booth 200, partner. It's been too long. Congrats on the win.
Thank you very much. I definitely wasn't the fastest car out there today, but in practice I spun a whole lot, so I knew that was going to be an issue, and I got understeered and lost my bonus points right on the first lap, and I saw both the championship contenders both spun, and I was like, all I got to do is not spin. I think I might be okay. I don't know how far back they went, but it was definitely, I was just telling some of the guys, after you spend that much in practice with the colder tires, once they do actually warm up, you got all the grip you could ever ask for, but it's kind of hard to demand it because you're like, I don't want to spin.
Yeah, I was
pretty good.
They spun far enough back, certainly. But, I mean, you still had great pace at the front of the field, especially with Gunter and Hill having to work through a lot of traffic. They ran into plenty of problems. Clean air, especially once you start to get those tires worked in, seems to be king for however much you could get anyway, having to roll in and out of traffic constantly. But what's the name of the game here? Now that maybe you're a little bit more familiar with this track, you're going to have to start all the way at the back of the heap here.
Yeah, I've done some GT cars on this track in another game, but not in iRacing that much. I think more of it is just getting used to a tire update and starting with the colder tires. My tires are pretty pristine after that one, so I want to try to push a little bit more when the time is right, when I'm not in traffic and got some clean air. And we'll be starting from the back, so take my time.
Well, you're on the top of the box here tonight for the Dash, first time this season. Congrats. Let's get some shout-outs for you.
Yeah, thanks you guys in the booth, Tommy and Matt, and Turn 200, and everybody in ASRL, Corey, and I don't know who's running the show mostly over there, but whoever's keeping the ball rolling, Corey and Rick. And I think I've come to my attention later last season that I think Casey is also an admin or league owner or something like that. So yeah, thanks Eminent Signs and Graphics. I think Renee had a good finish tonight, so congrats to him. And that's about it.
All righty, partner. Let's close it out with the sweep. What do you say?
I'll try.
Best of luck to you.
Last race.
Yeah, go for broke, right?
Yep.
That is Josh Heggie in the 099. That is win number 4 for him in the ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship, first of the season. We got about 2 minutes left to go. I want to tell everybody, ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship will be back in 2025 here on Turn 200. The format of which yet to be determined. They always vote between every season. That's why we got the LMP2s this season, as opposed to the GT3, GT4 multi-class that we had last season. But it will be back, longer season next season as well. And it'll be right here on Turn 200. So that's all we know. So that's all we can share. Thanks to everybody that's hanging out with us already. Thanks as always to Don Golden. Thank you to Full Send Graphics as well. Joshua Rutherford of Mullet Music Productions. And thank you to everybody that has helped make this season possible as well for the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship. Thank you to Eminent Signs and Graphics, whether it's channel signs or channel letters, monument signs, they could do it all. Link is in the description for them. Thank you to Team Watson Racing Setups. Thank you to Mullet Music Productions. Thank you to CJR Graphics. And, of course, thank you to the American Sim Racing League, about to wrap up their 25th full year of online sim racing competition. That is incredible. So year number 26 in 2025. Excited for that. And it's what going to be in 2025 for us? Is that going to be year number 3 or 4 for Turn 200?
I think we started, I want to say our first official broadcast were in 2022. So it's, I'm trying to remember. Honestly, I don't remember. I think it was, I think it'll be year 4. I want to say it was 2022 as our first
I think you're right.
Official Daredevil series broadcast, I think in the spring, and then we switched over to YouTube in the fall, and with more Daredevil action, and then of course the Venom Truck series, and it's just it snowballed from there.
So this is our last broadcast of the year. Next time we'll be on air. I think it'll be for Truck 200, and we will have it back. When I say we, I mean I have been having a host of problems lately. But we'll be back for Truck 200, I believe, on December 30th at North Wilkesboro. We'll finally get this damn throwback race in, and then we'll be back from there. But we've also got the Motor Stardom Daytona Charity Shootout. And that will be, I believe, on January 4th. And the night before that should be the Daytona Last Chance Shootout as well. So that will be the next 3 times that we're on air. After we wrap it up here proper, should say unofficially, we think the championship is wrapped up. We'll wait for the official numbers at the end of the night. But this is how the starting grid is going to look here. For the final race of season number 5 for the ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship, Corey Rutherford will lead the field to the green. Jeff Mathis will be on the outside pole. It'll be Joshua Rutherford and Dan Minglin on row number 2. Austin Lafferty and Jarrell Williams on row number 3. Christopher Hill, Bertie Gunter, and Josh Heggie, the rest of the starting lineup for the LMP2s. For the GT3s, I'm not sure if Alex Howland is here. It looks like he was having some connection issues, but he is slated to start at the front of the field. If not him, then it'll be Blair Warner that will lead the field to the green. JJ Wang then will be on the inside of row number 2 with Travis Fleming to his outside, Brian Bonneau, Gabe Ogden. And then it is James Watson and Nick Batista, Johnny Alford, and Rob Henry, the rest of your top 10 starters for the GT3s. Matt Schlosser and Matt Johnston, of course, they're going to start side by side. Why wouldn't they? Kevin Burrows, Rene Garcia, and Dave Seats looking for win number 14 to close out the season, which is ridiculous. We'll see if he can get it. But first, let's get the track conditions here. It is now 1:52 in Italy here in the sim. Matt, does that change the track heading?
Not really. Actually, I think it might be 1 degree cooler than it was previously. So
interesting.
It's 70 degrees is the track temperature right now. The ambient temperature is still basically the same at 68. So, still should be favorable conditions. However, we obviously found out in the dash race that cold tires are a big, big problem around here. So the drivers have to be careful with how they treat the rubber early on in this race. You mentioned "go for broke" being the mantra for this last race of the season. That is maybe the worst possible thought on the very first lap here. I think you need to be very careful on the first lap, and then maybe after a couple 2 or 3 laps, you can then go for broke.
Hey, he said it. I'm gonna push. And you can't say you pushed all race if you don't start at the first lap.
Dangerous. You're putting bad thoughts in their heads, Tommy.
And that is why I'm up here. Thank you very much. I'll stay on the flip cam. Thank you.
We have 40 minutes coming up for you, folks. They do get one faster pair here in this one. A couple of them had to be used there in the sprint race. Hopefully not too many will have to be used here, but we'll have to find out. 14X is still a drive-through penalty. 21X is that disqualification. I mean, you saw it all happen. And the thing is, just when drivers kind of maybe felt like they had the grip under control, tires were up to temperature. I mean, we saw some self-spins a little bit later in the race as well. So, I mean, you feel like you can attack, but it can go south very, very quickly.
Something that we haven't mentioned that I think got implemented in this season anyway is the new debris model, more specifically off-track debris being brought onto the track to affect grip levels with as many drivers as we saw bail it off into the sand and dirt. This track might get dirty by the end of the night.
and it'll be easy to see because it's a pretty dark track surface. So if there's any sand or gravel being kicked up on this thing, we're going to be able to tell visually on the sim here.
Definitely. Well, it's kind of nice to have the championship battles all done and dusted because that means this could just be a 40-minute slobber knocker to close out season number 5 for the ASRL Sports Card Championship, brought to you all season long by Eminent Signs and Graphics. Corey Rutherford and Jeff Mathis at the helm of this ravenous pack of 23 drivers. Round number 20 is green at Misano. Rutherford off to a blinding start into turn number 1. Miglin and Joshua Rutherford side by side. Mathis slots into P2 for the GT3s. JJ Wang is up to the early advantage. Oh, and a spin! That's Joshua Rutherford. Oh, and one driver hit hard. That was Rob Henry, blinded by the smoke at the 64. He couldn't see a thing. Drivers scrambling every which way, including Corey Rutherford, who is off. Oh, and that is a big dust up there. 3 GT3s and another spin now. More contact. It's Dave Seats. Oh, my sweet Jesus. JJ Wang still out ahead of the GT3s, but they are absolutely fighting for their life behind him. Jeff Mathis, the leader for the LMP2s.
This has been wild. That actually was not Dave Seats. That was, I think, Brian Bonneau, but a very similar paint to the old paint for Dave Seats.
Well, I saw Dave Seats get run off the track, and I panicked. He was one of many that was somewhat involved in that. Rob Henry, one of the drivers that got the worst of it, Bonneau as well, like you mentioned.
So Jarrell Williams back to second already here in the LMP2s, chasing Jeff Mathis, Brody Gunter, Christopher Hill not far behind, Josh Hagee not far behind either.
And there's Dave Seats. He has spun now with help from behind. Mathis leads the opening lap. Another crazy one. And Wang leads it for the GT3s. Good Lord. Oh, big snap oversteer there for Jarrell Williams, and he's going to give up second now to Brody Gunter. Williams is lucky to hang on to that one. Oh, and now he's going to spin.
Wow, that is so similar to what Christopher Hill did on the first lap in the feature race. He got loose in that previous corner, and then as soon as he got to that pretty quick left-hander, he zipped it right around. Christopher Hill has to save the car up the racetrack. He's going to lose a spot to Josh Hagee.
Go for broke from the back of the field, already up to P3. There's the 099 on the move. Gunter right knocking on the door, the 54 for the top spot. Just a couple car lengths between the top two. Gunter would love a win for the road if he can't have the championship, but he'll need to get through Jeff Mathis to do it.
Jeff Mathis, a crafty racer, is not going to make this pass easy for Gunter.
Trip down pit road for Christopher Hill.
Whoa!
Whoa! There's the contact.
And we were on board with Gunter. It seemed like he did not expect the braking zone to start that early. For Jeff Mathis, he had to take an evasive maneuver dive to the inside. It wasn't even really a calculated dive to the inside for a pass. But contact ensues regardless.
Christopher Hill has retired from this race, so I'm not sure what happened to the 101, but he is going to call it quits. Hopefully everything is all right. And we're waiting for an official word at the end of the night to crown the LMP2 championship.
Oh! Schlosser nearly made contact there. I believe that was with Burrows. Look at this.
4 wide.
Rutherford in the LMP2 is able to get through, but they were 4 wide there for a moment.
Fleming on the outside, Kevin Burrows in the middle, and Schlosser there on the extreme left. Schlosser somehow ends up with the positioning here. But now on the outside of the right-hander. And the Mustang will eat down the long straightaway here. As Gunter will lead him back across the line. Josh Heggie not too far behind, just a couple of car lengths. And we'll see if Heggie indeed has some pace to hang with Gunter, like he seemed to not think that he had. Two-second lead for J.J. Wang. Polar opposite opening laps for the 61 from the dash to the feature.
Joshua Rutherford continues to try and work his way through some GT3s here. That is going to get him around Johnny Alford. Josh Heggie not really going anywhere. Time's kind of yo-yoing back and forth here a bit.
Across the stripe, it's a 126.907 to a 126.904. 3 1,000s. Heggie with the purple lap. And he is right here. Oh, we'll get pinched behind some traffic, but Gunter went long. It's still going to be Heggie losing out here, though, big time, as he is trapped behind. That's Rob Henry, who's been having a heck of a race so far. So that was a huge time loss for Heggie. I know we're 20 races into this season, but Henry didn't do anything wrong. They're told to hold their line, and that's exactly what he did. Meanwhile, 2-second lead for J.J. Wang has dropped just a bit. But now Joshua Rutherford is going to sully the progress a bit of Nick Batista, who's trying to track down J.J. Wang. Rene Garcia now closing in on his teammate.
Tight battle between Schlosser, Watson, and Seats here as Seats tries to gain back some positions lost. Gets one from Watson.
And I misspoke earlier. He's actually going for win number 13 on the season here. But he's got a long way to go if he is going to pull it off. Here's Miglin and Mathis. A little bit of contact. And Miglin getting the elbows out here for P3 in the midst of Rob Henry. Oh, and now Miglin going to send it way long.
Just trying to set up the straightaway.
Yeah, I guess. So Heggie, in that exchange with Rob Henry last lap, lost 1.3 seconds. And he's got to find a way to reel him back in. Sector times right now look about even, honestly. Heggie's got the pace to hang with Gunter. He just needs Gunter to back up to him a bit. Last time by, Hagee was 0.06 of a second quicker. Which you can afford to be that ticky-tacky with 30 minutes left on the clock. And there's nothing ticky-tacky about the battle for P2 here in the GT3s. These are teammates Batista and Garcia. And they have started to fade away from JJ Wang. Gap is back to 3 seconds as these two set to do battle. Here goes Garcia. A lunge into the braking zone into turn number 1, and Garcia will put himself back to P2 right where he finished the dash race earlier.
Behind them, not too far, Kevin Burrows, Matt Johnston battling. Oh, Johnston nearly went for a full 360 there. He's able to hang on to it, but Burrows will get through. That was a big save there for Johnston.
Josh Hagee just had an off track and lost another full second to Brody Gunter. So it's now the gap up to 3 seconds.
That's going for broke.
Definitely. So Garcia in P2. He and Nick Batista both with wins last season, but have yet to be back on the board because both of those wins came in GT4s in season number 4. Can Garcia track down JJ Wang last lap? Almost identical lap times. Wang 100th of a second quicker than Garcia. Gunter purple lap across the stripe, 126.59. Answered by Hagee with a 127.0. So half a second difference between the top two. And this is a bit of a revenge drive for Gunter, as Christopher Hill is going to get 9th place points here. Still, I don't think it's going to be enough for Gunter to supersede with how they finished the last race.
These GT3s starting to bunch up here in the middle of the field here, Tommy. Burrows,
Don't they always do that?
Schlosser, Seats, all coming together here.
And those are 4 guys who will throw darts for any spot. Doesn't matter if they're battling for first or 21st.
Johnny Alfred's also caught Nick Batista here. This is for a podium position in the GT3 class.
Yeah, Bagman finished P2 last week. Batista no podiums this season. Would love to change that. And really, Rene Garcia, after getting through on Batista, is not driven away. So Alfred and Batista still could be in the mix here for a P2 in an interview at the end of the night. Think Schlosser and Johnston are tired of each other yet?
I don't know. The last 2 or 3 weeks here, they have really been going after it. And I don't know, maybe they're starting to enjoy it at this point. It's like that friendly little rivalry. Although I don't know if it was all that friendly last week.
I don't think so.
Alfred trying to set up the inside here. Not quite able to get there.
We'll give it a shot out of 16.
Yeah, better exit there for Alfred. Will be on the outside going into turn number 1, though.
Ooh, backed it up, though. As you see Brody Gunter approaching behind. Ooh, awkward little swipe for both of them. Josh Heggie having to get through that gaggle behind.
Batista kind of hangs it wide to let Gunter through. Is going to let Alfred come right back to the bumper. Good battle between these two.
Heggie catching that group at the slowest part of the track cost him another second. And he'll have to get through this grouping of Alfred and Batista as well. Good defense thus far from Batista. Good Lord.
Now that's some teamwork.
Yeah. Corey Rutherford down pit road. He's got a pass-through penalty for exceeding the drive-through penalty limit.
Take a look further back here. Seats takes the lunge to the inside of Schlosser and is able to get it. Schlosser took the outside lane there, knew that Seats was going to have the pace.
Here's the lunge from Johnny Alford, and he might have it. He does. Alford to P3.
With those two battling, Garcia was able to pull away, but maybe Alford will be able to mount the charge here after finally getting that pass made.
Wang and Garcia from sector to sector are wildly different from one another. That gap is just going all over the place. Right now it stands at about 3.5 seconds. Maybe now that some of the GT3 traffic is separated from the LMP2 traffic, we could get a little more consistency out of our front runners, lap time wise.
Jeff Mathis, Terrell Williams are right behind this trio of GT3 drivers. Oh, wow. Almost in contact with Dave Seats there. Well, these two are trying to weave in and out of these three cars. Boy, Williams nearly got to the back of Johnson there. Now he's going to take a dive to the inside. Nearly took out Jeff Mathis.
Not the first time we've seen a near miss from Jarrell tonight, but the nice thing is that he's got it pretty well under control despite all the smoke and tire screeching. They've been near misses. Dave Seats in his quest to catch up to Matt Johnson has had an off track, but he's still ahead of Matt Schlosser. I'm showing Dave Seats with 10 incident points here. A couple other drivers in double digits as well. Here's a pit stop from Matt Johnston. And Dan Minklin has just picked up a pass-through penalty. And I believe the contact between Minklin and Schlosser just gave Schlosser a meatball as well.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to force the 400s in. It looks like he's still got decent pace, maybe just lacking stability.
Yeah, the rear end is certainly, well, it's not even hurting. It's just non-existent here at this point.
It's phantom pains. Oh, and there's the lack of aerodynamic stability.
Yeah. He's fallen off this group in front of him very quickly. He is going to want to try and get down pit road this time as quickly as possible.
So that's unfortunate. Well, Schlosser picked up big points on JJ Wang last race, but it's JJ's turn to eat at the front of the field as he is leading. This is not what the 400 wanted to see. Nick Batista, I believe, is going to be pitting from fourth. We'll see if he'll drag anybody down with him or if it's going to be a dummy call. It is not a dummy call. He's going to bring Kevin Burrows in. No, he's not going to bring Kevin Burrows in. Who was that just came in behind Batista? It might be Dan Miglin. Yes. So Miglin, Schlosser, and Batista. And Miglin with a pass-through penalty. Schlosser with a meatball flag. They have no choice in the matter. Batista does.
I haven't really highlighted pit road too much here tonight because we are just now kind of getting to our first round of pit stops as Dave Seats is pulled right up to the back of Kevin Burrows, and Burrows is working on getting through some lap traffic here. But there is a lot of time to be made and lost on both entry and exit of pit road here. The exit is very narrow, and once you cross the line where you can actually go, I think it's 37 miles an hour is the speed limit. Once you pass the line where you can go as fast as you want, you still have a little tight section that you have to navigate before you actually get out onto the racetrack, and there's a lot of time gain and loss that you can have there.
A really long pit exit. Like you said, you don't always have to be under the pit speed for it.
Oh, Burrows wide here. Seats not quite there to pounce.
Here come Wang and Garcia, the top two, and Garcia made up a lot of time on pit entry. I mean, he's cut it to a few car lengths, and that was a 3-second advantage just a lap ago.
Burrows and Seats are going to fly on by, and Seats is going to pass Kevin Burrows at the line. That puts Dave Seats up to second for now. Johnny Alford has yet to come down pit road. He's out in front of the GT3 class.
And Miglin is back down pit road. I think he had a problem on his pit out. And Josh Hagee again is starting to eat into the gap of Brody Gunter. The gap is still hovering around 7 seconds, but Hagee's been faster the last 2 laps. Ran a personal best 2 laps ago.
There's a look at the end of the pit road exit. We'll see if we can get a better view of the entire thing once we have one of our other top drivers come down.
Here's Jeff Matheson from third.
So still a lot of LMP2s that have yet to come down. Still quite a few GT3s that have yet to come down here as well.
Oh, just sort of crashed somewhere. I don't see anybody slowing, though. Somebody hit the wall really hard.
All right, let's take a look at the pit exit here. for Jeff Mathis. You see he's not able to go too quickly here. Long exit. Finally going to get to these cones where he can go, but still a little turn to navigate here before you get back out onto the racetrack. Have to stay wide there until you get to the blue cone.
Here's Josh Hagee from P2. Started to lose time again on that last lap to Gunter. So maybe trying to undercut the 0-1 and hope that Brody will have a problem. Travis Fleming also down pit road. Jarrell Williams now in from third.
Oh, Jeff Mathis trying to make a move on Austin Lafferty. Really bind it up behind him there. And Lafferty is going to dive down pit road.
So we saw Wang and Garcia nearly nose to tail. I mean, a couple car lengths between them on pit road. But Garcia comes out of the pits still 3 seconds behind JJ Wang. As here's Brody Gunter in from the lead. Jarrell Williams making his pit stop. But Gunter in the first pit stall on pit road. Here is Alford. Here is Burrows. Here is Watson. 3 of the last holdouts for the GT3s.
And with the pit from Alford, J.J. Wang will take back over.
Not by much.
I take that back. Dave Seats has yet to come down pit road here.
Well, J.J. overtook Johnny Alford, but only by a couple car lengths. So Alford is rocking and rolling. No issues for Gunter. The only issue could be Josh Hagee overtaking him, but Hagee just now making the turn onto the pit straight. So it should still be Gunter in control of the field. Question is just by how much.
Yeah, it's still going to be by quite a bit here.
Here comes Dave Seats.
Well, Johnny Alford got caught up trying to make some passes here in the first portion of the race. Doesn't have to do that any longer. The only pass he has to make is on J.J. Wang, and that will be for the lead in the class.
Boy, wouldn't Johnny Alford love a win for the road on the season. We'll see where Seats is going to come out in all this. He is rolling at the end of pit road, but still a ways to go before he is cleared to fire up. But still, he's Dave Seats. I mean, he's too close for comfort if you ask JJ.
Yeah, there's
He'll come
Dave
out in fourth.
Out of the chute. All in all, about a 5-second gap up to the leader, J.J. Wang, with Garcia and Alford in between.
So Hagee, with his tires fired up already, is making time again on Gunter. The bad news is it is still an 8-second disadvantage for the 099 to try and sweep. He's only got 10.5 minutes now to try and overcome that gap. Gunter rocking 7 incidents right now. Hagee rocking 8. Corey Rutherford is a 4X away from a disqualification. A couple other drivers teetering on the edge of a pass-through penalty.
Johnny Alford pulled right up to the back bumper of Wang just a few corners ago. His shot is within sight. Under 10 minutes to go now in the last race of the season.
Ooh, Seats and Garcia nearly make some contact. But Bertie Gunter got on his horse last time around. Put almost 3 seconds on Josh Heggie.
Seats take the dive.
Aided by some LMP2 traffic. He will take that third spot away.
Alfred's still a few car lengths behind JJ. JJ has extended it by a little bit here that last lap.
Oh, Matt Schlosser will have to serve a pass-through penalty as he runs off the road in his battle with Nick Batista for 6th.
Brody Gunter holding about a 10-second lead over Josh Heggie in the LMP2 class. Meanwhile, a battle brewing for the lead here in the GT3s.
And Johnny Alford not letting JJ drive away. As Schlosser comes down pit road.
Leaders converging here in the closing minutes. It came up very quick on the GT3 leader, did Brody Gunter on JJ Wang.
Nearly bumpers converging.
See Dave Seats in that long shot lurking behind Alfred and Wang here, still quite a ways back. But should something happen between these two, he is there, ready to pounce.
Not only if something happens between these two, but he's faster. He was 7/10 up last time, and now Alfred's got the slipstream. Can he find anywhere to take it? He'll have to take the long way around the curve straightaway into the left-hander. Maybe looking to swing underneath.
Ooh, JJ did not get the power down very well. A little bit of a wiggle.
He'll have to go around the outside once again. JJ crowding a bit. And again, this is only helping Dave Seats' cause. Alfred itching to try and get through and take that first victory. Here's Josh Heggie, second overall. He'll have to find his way through this battle. Some separation. Seats a full second faster. He is only 3 behind. With 3 minutes to go. I think you'll catch him, but it's it's one thing to catch him, it's another to pass. Should just put that on a t-shirt at this point. Oh, there's a big slip up from Alfred, and that is going to cost him quite a bit of time. JJ able to get on the power, down the long straight much quicker. So again, we'll await official word after the end of this race. And maybe somebody could shed some light on why Christopher Hill disconnected. Seemingly had it in the bag, but who knows? We'll wait for official word before we crown the LMP2 champion. Certainly Brody Gunter has done what he needs to do in this race.
On board with Dave Seats, who is working on tracking down both second and first here. And seemingly within reach, based on the lap times he has put down the last couple.
I believe we're on the 3 to go lap. It's going to be close. Whether it's 3 to go right now or 2 to go right now. And I think this is the 2 to go lap. As Gunter is going to cross the stripe with a minute to go. Final lap of Season 5 is on the board. Lap 27 here in Misano will be the final one. Gunter well out in front of Joshua Heggie. It's all to play for here for the GT3s, who are still rounding the final couple of corners. And they'll see the white flag this time.
And LMP2, Jeff Mathis getting in between first and second here in the GT3 class. Alfred gonna try and follow him right up to the bumper of JJ. Couldn't quite catch him, but has closed it by a bit.
JJ able to get the power down a lot sooner, and that may be enough. Just this little gap he's open on this straightaway without a mistake. Alford closing the gap once more. But for Brody Gunter, he will round the final turn, and Brody Gunter takes round number 20 of the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship here at Misano. Final few turns for JJ Wang to try and fend off Johnny Alford. Alford gets right up, tucked underneath that rear wing. One more turn to go for JJ, and the rear end steps out from underneath of him. But he's going to have it. JJ Wang across the stripe will take the win. Woo! Win number 4 on the season, 9 overall for JJ.
Good battler towards the end between Burrows and Garcia as well. Burrows gets the best of Garcia here. And I think it's picture time.
I think so. Man, what a great race between JJ and Johnny Alford. We'll talk to both of them in a second.
And everybody is going to do their part to get in order for the photo opportunity here. Tommy is trying to get word on the official standings. We believe that Christopher Hill did enough in the first race here tonight to keep the lead and capture the championship for the LMP2s. Came into the night with an 18-point advantage. And Gunter did what he needed to do here in the feature race. But we believe it was too much of a gap to make up on Hill. We're going to find out here.
Corey is punching in the numbers. I think you and I are in agreement that Christopher Hill held on to this championship. Apparently had a prior engagement tonight and had to leave immediately after the first lap of the feature. But that should have been enough. Certainly Gunter with the win will not take a 3x bonus, which there was a lot of 0x bonus of 3 points, which he needed those desperately here tonight. But the good news is nobody really got him, so he shouldn't feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, off tracks are kind of weird here. There's a lot of sections where to be fast, you can kind of get off the racetrack a little bit. So it's, yeah, it was going to be tough to get a 0x bonus here tonight in either race.
Fun little way to celebrate the end of a season. I mean, they are long. 10 weeks isn't anything to sneeze at, but they go by pretty quick here, even with a couple of off weeks. It feels like we just started this season, and it's over already. Line it up for the class pictures here.
Do you want to do the full rundown here before we kind of get things underway for the championship standings and all?
Absolutely. We'll talk to Brody Gunter no matter what. We'll talk to Joshua Heggie once again. They go 1-2. Jeff Mathis will round out the podium for the LMP2s. It'll be Jarrell Williams, the last driver on the lead lap in class in P4. Austin Lafferty will take 5th. Dan Miglin in 6th. Joshua Rutherford, Corey Rutherford will finish the race. And then Christopher Hill with the early DNF. GT3s, it is JJ Wang and Johnny Alford, their top 2 finishers. Great battle between those two. JJ will take win number 9 in his ASRL career, and win number 4 on the season. Alford at 2nd. Dave Seitz will round out the podium. Kevin Burrows, Rene Garcia, the top 5. Nick Batista in P6. Matt Schlosser will finish in 7th. Matt Johnston in 8th. James Watson, Rob Henry, the top 10 finishers. Gabe Ogden, Travis Fleming, Blair Warner, and Brian Bonneau will be your drivers who will finish out the lineup for the GT3s. As you ever seen this many drivers do a burnout at once? Oh my God! Oh my! Somebody was just particle accelerated there. Youch! Thought that was in Switzerland. Well, we've lost Brody Gunter, unfortunately. He was absolutely eviscerated. So I guess we'll go in search of some podium finishers here, and we'll talk to the driver who sure made it interesting there at the end of it all, the bagman Johnny Alford. Welcome back to Booth 200. Nice runner-up finish to close out the season.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So close. Almost got that first win.
Well, you were surprised to find out that you finished 2nd last week. No surprise here tonight. You gave JJ everything that he could handle.
Yeah, man, that was a great battle. JJ did an awesome job. And Dave, too, running me down, kept me on my toes. That was fun.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on a great run here today. You had a little bit of trouble getting to 2nd. It took you a while to get there. Do you feel like you might have had a better shot of getting past JJ had you gotten that done a little bit sooner, or was it once getting to JJ a little bit too tough to actually make the pass?
Maybe, yeah, if I had a little bit of time, maybe I could have found a weak spot or tried to set something up, but he really would have had to make me work for it. He was quick. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think maybe if I had a tiny bit more time, I could have set something up, but he was quick.
Well, great stuff here tonight. Thanks for the time. Congrats to the P2 for the road. Shout-outs for you.
Shout-outs to you guys. Awesome season. You guys did an awesome job broadcasting all season. Really enjoy it. And shout-outs to the admins, Brody, and is Brody an admin? I think so.
He might as well be.
He might as well be. But yeah, him and Corey, Josh, Brian, all the guys that put this on. Really appreciate them. Really looking forward to next season.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time. Congrats on a strong couple of races to close this season out, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Sounds good, guys. Y'all take it easy and enjoy your holidays.
All righty, we'll talk to your winner. It's JJ Wang on the top of the box here tonight in the feature. Win number 4 on the season. Been eating him up of late. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. I think that hopefully will about do it. I think Matt had a bad feature, so we kind of canceled each other out. You know, I was I felt real silly about that spin, but man, it was strangely lack of grip this round. I don't know if it was because of the cold winter Italy or whatever, but yeah, I'm glad to kind of end it off on a win.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on a great finish here in the feature. I think you probably got 2nd there in the GT3 class, but you and Chris Hill also captured the team championship. So, I mean, you guys put together a pretty darn good season here.
Yeah, real happy with that. When I was Chris's teammate, I knew I needed to just kind of put my A game and try to do as best as I can, especially with kind of last season. Just kind of trying to drag the Ford GT up. I knew that a more competitive GT3 would kind of help out, and I wish I could give Dave a more run for his season. He's been he's beware the driver that's good and lucky. And Dave has been way more good than lucky this season. So it was just tough to catch. Even Matt and I, we're champ rivals, and we just sit there going like, man, that Dave Seats is has some really wicked pace. Anytime we're in front of him or we manage to just step in front of him, we're just overjoyed. But hats off to Dave, man. It's a well-deserved championship. And really big thanks to just Slosher in general. I saw in the heat, he actually waited for one of my teammates that was fighting him hard. Matt, everybody in TWR knows the situation between me and Schlosser, and that waiting on that's real sportsman, like that's real good sportsmanship right there, because he needed all the points he can get to get on me.
Well, you take 4 wins in the championship this season, and 3 of the last 4 as well. Really came on strong in the back half of the season. Congrats on a great season. Anybody you want to shout out for the road?
Yeah, big shout out to just all the folks at TWR. This is a bittersweet moment for me. I'm leaving TWR, and this will be my last race for them. So I started TWR with a win, and I ended off on a win. So happy for that for James. I'll look forward to racing with them and still hanging out with them, kind of in the virtual paddock. Gotta mention Chris Hill for, I believe he wins the champ. I'm not quite sure on that, but he's been like a great teammate. Nate Siefker, shout out to him. Jeff Mathis, who is a big pal that came out. He's kind of a friend of the team. And Matt Johnston, James Watson, of course, Dan Miglin, all those folks. They've been real good to me this season. I had some rough patches here and there with maybe running into each other a little bit, but all in all, it was a really good kind of multi-class season. And big shout out to kind of Gabe Ogden for coming out and guesting for us as well. And then gotta give thanks to my sponsor, Precision Racing Instructions. This is Chris Hill's coaching service, whether it's real life or in sim. Go reach out to them. Look at kind of my driving from last season to this season. A lot of wrecks, a lot of spin outs, but cleaned it up for this one. Hats off to them. Go reach out to them. Chris is a great guy to get instruction from. TWR setups for TWR's NASCAR side, real strong. Honestly, real strong for a lot of roadside as well. So go check them out if you're in need of setups, especially with the new patch. I feel like a lot of physics changes have thrown a big wrench in a lot of things. So the smart folks at the shop have some stuff figured out. So go to that website for your setup needs. And last but not least, both you, Matt, and Tommy, always enjoy your broadcast. Definitely my favorite broadcast group, and I'm glad to get to talk to you more after doing the EV stuff, because I'm not always sure that I could find myself in the booth if it's not something on electric. So I'm just happy to talk to you one final time this season.
Absolutely, partner. Looking forward to many more down the road. Congrats on a hard-fought victory here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you again here soon, but great job here tonight.
Oh yeah, and last but not least, thanks for Johnny Alford for keeping it clean. That was a real. It got down to the wire, but could have stuck a nose in there. But just real hard, good racing. Just all the folks at the top, thoroughly enjoyed it. But thanks very much.
JJ Wang, win number 9 here tonight. Congrats.
Thanks.
And now we'll talk to the reigning champ. He had it locked up before we even stepped foot in Italy here tonight. But Dave Seats is the man to beat, no doubt, this season. 12 wins. Good golly gracious. What a championship effort for you. The second time in ASRL, but the first time in a while. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun season.
I mean, JJ just mentioned it, and I'm sure Matt Schlosser was thinking it all throughout the season and all throughout tonight as well. I mean, what's it all went right for you this season, but how? Was it luck? Was it pace? What's the balance between the two?
There's always luck, but even managing, when things go wrong, like this evening, like I had a big spin in T1, wasn't prepared for the massive brake checking and the apexing, and just keep your head down, don't get too flustered, and was able to get back to a podium position. It's, take what you can and just, keep driving forward. tried to keep pace, and I tried to work with traffic, as well as I could, to not get sent by an LMP2 car. Like, I kind of have an idea where they need to go. So, like, if I had to save, a little bit of time to lift a little bit early, like I saw him coming. Like, it was just traffic management. I think was a big factor to this season.
Tactical and practical. Matt, do you have one last question for the champ?
Yeah, well, first of all, congrats on the championship. And, I mean, this is just about as perfect as a championship run can get. I mean, is there anything that would have made this one any sweeter?
Having some of my teammates up there in the podium positions with me at the end of the season. That's something we can work on for next season, working as a team. But no, I think we maximized as much as we could, and I think overall it was a fairly good season for me.
I think that's an understatement for sure. We were excited to have you back at the end of last season. This season, an absolute can opened on the field. Congrats on the championship one more time. Shout outs for you.
Thanks, guys. You guys up in the booth, Corey and all the admins in ASRL, you guys working together, giving us a place to race every week, and then a broadcast that we can watch it back, share it with our friends. And then the race sponsors that also give us help by giving us a place to race. Eminent Signs and Graphics, TWRS Racing Setups, Mullet Music Productions, CGR Graphics, and then of course my sponsors. They've helped me with good paints all season, kept the car looking good, and that's Jordan at Full Send Graphics, and then the new sponsor Chris with That Ease Tool Sales.
Alrighty, partner. Congrats on the championship. Fantastic season for you. Let's do it again in 25. What do you say?
Sounds good to me. I'll see you then.
That is Dave Seats. The winners bracket looks like this at the end of the season. 12 wins for Dave Seats, 4 for JJ Wang, 3 for Matt Schlosser, and 1 for Kevin Burrows. And those are your GT3 winners throughout 20 races this season. Goodness gracious. What a run for Dave Seats. And we'll talk to your winner of the LMP2 Dash Race now. We are going to hot swap him straight into Booth 200. It's Josh Heggie who will finish in the runner-up spot in the LMP2 feature here tonight. Congrats on a great follow-up to the win.
Yep, not quite a sweep, but I had some. I think I missed a race earlier this season. Had some technical difficulties that hurt some of my finishes earlier this season, so it's nice to finish pretty strong. I think maybe I might have got up to the 3rd spot in the standings. I'm not sure. Was hoping to see a battle there for the number 1 spot. I don't know what happened to the 101 car, but
yeah, I believe you did end up in 3rd in the standings, so that's a little feather in the cap as well. And I think for the most part, you had Gunter's pace here tonight. It's just you seem to catch traffic in absolutely horrible spots.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I was pushing the tire a little more that race, and yeah, I think some of it has to do with the skill gap with the drivers. They're like spread out so much, so I barely even got a clean lap in that race, especially. But that's just part of the deal.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, well, congrats on finishing out your season on a good night. I mean, with the win and a 2nd place, it only gets one position better, and I mean, this is a great way to cap off a season. You kind of mentioned it, some troubles throughout the season with, on and off the racetrack, kind of getting things put together. I mean, what would your goals be looking forward into 2025?
Oh, we got Corey hopped in our Discord already talking about the future, so that's good. I think my league dues are coming up. Hopefully I can make it or have the time to do it, and hopefully make every race. Sometimes that's half the battle, showing up and putting in some points, even if you don't do so well. But that's my goal. I didn't make every race, so at least I'll maybe try to make every race next season. But you never know what's going to happen.
Well, we look forward to getting you whenever we can get you, that's for sure. And it's always a pleasure to have you up here in the booth. Way to close it out on a strong note, to win in a second place here at Misano. Congratulations. Shout outs for you.
Thanks for making us look good this season. I've had a lot of fun. I think sometimes I drive a little too much like a rookie in these multi-class things. Worried about hurting people, but all the people we're racing with and all the league admins organizing everything, and that's about it, man.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time here tonight. Go celebrate a great night, and we'll talk to you again next season.
Later.
So we'll now go in search of your winner, and he will finish it out with the high mark tying 9th victory of the season. It's Brody Gunter. Welcome back to booth 200. Congrats on the win to close out the season.
Yeah, thank you guys. I don't know what to say about tonight. Just, I don't know. Do you want to start off if once?
It's yeah, that was an interesting start to the dash race. I mean, really, it was an interesting start for everybody. But that's it seemed like the track conditions or the lack of grip or whatever it was, lack of tire temperature, it seemed to catch pretty much everybody out.
Yeah, it was definitely the tire temp thing racing started. I mean, I get cold tires are cold tires, but I've never seen a cold tire be that way. If it just does a 180. Out of nowhere for no reason. Usually it's like you're tight and you lock up easier, not like you have a flat tire. But yeah, it definitely caught, I think, a lot of people off guard. Caught me off guard in the first race. I was able to recover decently. I freaking wrecked Jarrell, which I did not mean to. I was trying to actually just get by him cleanly so I could put up a spot between me and Hill. And then the second race, I apologize to freaking Jeff. I also dumped him, not expecting him to break that much, and had to take evasive action to not hit him, and it instead just kind of dumped him. So I apologize to both of them. I fully expect a protest from at least one of them for what I did, but I think we looked at the points, only 3 points off a Hill with him missing that last race, so close. If I got just a 0x from not making contact with Jeff, I would have got it. If I had won the first race, I would have got it. Or if I had not been dumped, not dumped, but like been wrecked in the past couple of races, I would have got it. So just kind of like last season, I felt like a good season, just too many lows that hurt me with how the point system is. With only one extra point per spot, it makes it where if one mistake kills you because you need like 30 good races to make up just one bad race.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, well, it's still, still a great season for you. It's always a treat to watch you battle, and you and Chris Hill had some really great battles here this season, and Nate Siefker was up there in the mix as well quite a bit. So, it was a pleasure to watch. It always is when you're on the racetrack. So, congrats on a great season. It was a good way to finish the season out with a win here. Headed to next season, I would imagine capturing the championship is at the top of the mind.
It's definitely, like I said, if I can make every race, luckily I was able to make all of these in this one. I definitely enjoyed this season, like you said, battling both Nate and Hill, mostly Hill, battling him back and forth. I remember Phillip still. I remember Le Mans, drafting him down the straightaway and going back and forth at Phillip was, probably some of my favorite races I've ever done, road coursing, so he's definitely given me that. He's given me different sections of different tracks I've been able to improve on. Tonight, I felt like, I think out of the two of us, I was faster. It was, I quite enjoyed this track, never being here before. It was a very interesting track. I actually kind of liked it. It felt similar to like how Portimao looks. It was very forgiving incident-wise. It was unheard of for an iRacing road course, but just a very, very fun season. I felt like I enjoyed racing the Star Wars paint skins I made every season. I'm looking forward to see what we're gonna run next season.
Well, speaking of next season, I know you've I'm sure you've got your slate planned out for 2025 IRL as well. What's 2025 look like for you on the real track?
It's really hard to tell because how legend cars do it, they don't like posting things to the last second. For example, the summer shootout, they didn't even post when the first race was until a week beforehand. You don't know how nice iRacing is. knowing what the fall season of 2024 and 2023 is like, it's like, holy cow, it's so far ahead when you're gonna race. It's so different compared to real life. So all we know right now is I am doing a winners, like a kind of like winner series. They call it Winter Nationals and a showdown at the same track. So it'll be eight races in a row. I believe it's in the middle of February. So we plan on doing that, but sadly, I guess I'll go and tell you guys, Truck 200, I have college classes starting in January on Monday, the time it starts, so I won't be able to continue doing Truck 200 as much as I was enjoying that, so I hate to let you guys know about that.
Well, we're spoiled. We'll get you whenever we could take you. We know you're a busy guy, and college is arguably more important than Truck 200, so I won't take any offense. Yeah, if you miss Daredevil though, we might have a problem. So we'll cross that bridge.
If it's still on Wednesdays, even Thursdays, I think I'll be able to make it to those Mondays and Tuesdays, and obviously in the summer and sometimes in the week. Just very hard to make.
Well, there you go. We'll look forward to that. But a great job here tonight, getting win number 9 of the season. Shout-outs for you one more time.
As always, Corey at CGI Graphics, Josh at Mullet Music Productions, Team 510 Racing for me and Nate, once again being teammates. Fun doing that both in real life and in iRacing. So thank you to him for being my teammate this season again. Team 200, thank you to you two, and then thank you to everyone at ASRL for putting on this season, and hopefully more.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time here tonight. Congrats. Go celebrate a victory and a great, successful season as well, and we'll talk to you again here soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
So Bertie Gunter mentioned it. We're not going to get an interview with him because he's off in the world doing something. But Christopher Hill is the champion by just 3 points. And you think back to 3 positions at any point this season, especially with an absolute cluster last week at Chicago times 2. Even though Gunter won one of those races, that was, and just any other time that he's had a problem here this season, just 3 positions in 20 races is all Gunter needed to take the dub on Christopher Hill here this season. That's going to sting a little bit, but it's Bertie Gunter. I mean, in our 3 broadcast seasons of ASRL, he's finished 1st, 2nd, and 2nd in the point standings. So in the premier divisions every time as well. So, I mean, Gunter is good. Gunter is great. He's the 2nd winningest driver on the channel, and he's excellent. But he wants to finish that 1 spot better.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and not only positions, I mean, he kind of said it too, that 1 more 0x bonus would have made up those 3 points as well. So, it's definitely a tough one to swallow. We talk about it all the time. Every point matters, and it's hard to see it at the beginning of a season how one mediocre race will affect the outcome of the season overall for you at the last race. So, it's tough, but it was, fantastic racing up there at the front of the LMP2 class. Very, very much enjoyed that. And in the GT3 class, I mean, not only at the front, but through the middle and the end. The GT3s were quite the show for us every night this season as well. So shout out to all of the drivers that participated in this season of the ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship. It was a fun one.
Absolutely it was, and we'll get to do it all again next season. Longer season. Don't remember the exact date, but go watch the Formula Indy Series broadcasting on P1 Broadcasting. Coming up here soon. You might see me out on track if I can get my I rating high enough. We'll have to find out. But excited for that. ASRL is going to step aside and cooperate with P1 Broadcasting for that. We get a longer season of the ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship next season, and then we get a longer Daredevil Series season as well, starting in August. How much longer? That is for us to decide sometime soon, but it will be longer. So excited for that. Excited for the things to come in 2025. Truck 200, Max V, ASRL, Daredevil, anything else that we can come up with. We're talking about some really stupid stuff for 2025, so very excited about that. But everybody raise a glass. Cheers to 2024, the good, the bad, the highs, and the lows. It's in the books. We'll look forward to a fantastic 2025 as well. Matt, anything else you want to say to close out the season this year? Anything you want? The time is yours.
Well, first of all, shout out to everybody that was in the chat with us here throughout the ASRL season. Don Golden here basically every night at this point. So one of the faithful viewers of Turn 200. So thank you, Don, for always tuning in and being in the chat. We always very much appreciate that. Nate Seifker was in the chat here today watching the race as well. So shout out to Nate. Wasn't able to make it on the racetrack tonight, but was a pleasure watching you work here in the ASRL season here towards the end of the year. Thanks to, I believe, Dave said Jordan at Full Send Graphics. I think it was Jordan. Thanks for tuning in and chatting with us here tonight. Really much appreciate that. And both of the Rutherfords for always being in the chat as well, especially Joshua. All of the admins for ASRL. I mean, as far as a whole year goes, we have packed in a lot this year. I think I looked and we had like 183 uploads, I believe, between both videos and live streams. So it was definitely our busiest year yet. I don't know if we'll even be able to top that in 2025, but we'll see. It was quite the year. So thank you to everybody that was a part of it, especially the drivers on the racetrack. We could not do this without you on the racetrack, and we very much appreciate it.
Yeah, we will have some year-end 2025 videos as soon as I get my life in order. No promises on when that will be, but or 2024 year-end videos. 2025 too, but and we do have one more broadcast to close out the year, December 30th. It will be Truck 200 from North Wilkesboro, but this just seems like a fitting end with the season closing out and everything to put our New Year's resolutions out for 2025. So excited for things to come next year, and excited for you all to be a part of them as well. Thank you for spending some time with us here, as always, on Turn 200. Thank you to Eminent Signs and Graphics. Thank you to Team Watson Racing Setups. Thank you to CJR Graphics. Thank you to Mullet Music Productions. Thank you to the admin team of the American Sim Racing League. Thank you to Corey Rutherford. Thank you to Joshua Rutherford. Thank you to Rick Thompson. Thank you to everybody else that helps make things possible here. Thank you to Matt Williamson as well for spending some time with us on a Wednesday night. That's all we got for you. Until we meet again here from Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and congratulations to Brody Gunter and Joshua Heggie on the wins in the LMP2s, to Dave Seats and JJ Wang on the victories in the GT3s, and congratulations to Christopher Hill and Dave Seats on the championships for season number 5 of the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Car Championship. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.